Hey folks, it's the third week in January and I'm heading back to Ohio to hunt. 1 day to scout, 2 days to hunt, hoping that I can find deer between feed and bedding. It'll be a success if I see a couple of buck this weekend. It'll be a bonus if I get one. See you out there. Well, I made it down here to Ohio in plenty of time. Cloudy morning like this morning, even though it's only about a half hour from sunrise, it's just getting light enough with this heavy cloud cover that I'm able to see out into these fields. I got about 25-30 miles or so that I'm going to drive along the edge of some of these farm fields that border public and private, see if I can see any deer out feeding in the fields before they go back to bedding, and also take a look and see what pressure I see with trucks in parking areas. Hopefully it'll give me an idea after I do this hour and a half or 2 hours of driving where I want to put boots on the ground during the middle of the day today, and then from there I can figure out a plan for tonight, whether I want to hunt or whether this evening I just want to sit down and drive the fields, see where deer are coming out, and go ahead and get me ready for the next 2 days of morning and evening hunting. Rainy, ugly weather this morning, so I'm spending a lot of time trying to get as much mileage done as I can, trying to find areas where deer are coming out of public and they're coming out on to private where there's some ag. I haven't found a whole lot of spots, but I've found a couple of areas in which I see tracks in the snow. So I'll get done with all this and then I'll go back and I'll check some of these areas and follow the tracks back and see if I can find any bedding. So after driving around for 2 hours, I found at least 2, maybe 3 spots that I want to get out, get some boots on the ground and really take a look and see if I can find fresh sign and possibly set up a couple of cell cameras to sit for the next couple of days while I'm here. I'm following this deer trail back for probably about 200 yards. I got fresh poop here, fresh urine. They're in here digging for acorns. I think this is a possibility I could think about putting a camera as I check this property out here. There's a property line right here. Let's see if this trail heads into what I think is this bedding area. Definitely looks like they head into some bedding and maybe a field out there. I think it's a great place to think about putting the camera. I just set up a cell cam and a possibility of a place for a tree stand right there with about a 15 to 30 yard shot. So we'll see if I get anything on this cam. I'm gonna go ahead, keep walking and see what else I find here. As I'm walking along, find that rub that's from this year. That's cool. I'm guessing because of eating all the acorns, that's why their urine is discolored like that. I haven't seen that before. I'll have to look that up. There's a huge trail that comes down off of that field that's over there, right at the edge of the woods, but it's on private. Some of the trails look like they go on private that direction, and a good majority of them come along here, including a couple of rubs that I found from earlier this year. So possibility, there's some tops in here in which they can bed in during the day. So I'm going to keep walking along and see what I can find here. But this is kind of cool back here for sure. Got a creek here. Be nice to see if I could find a pretty solid creek crossing. I was thinking this creek was going to be a funnel for them up here, but I don't think it is now because it's all frozen up. So I was standing over there and I'm right on the edge of public and private. Here's that big trail that's coming out of this creek right here. So it's right on the edge of public and private, so I gotta feel it out here. Figure out exactly where the property line is. Well, I'm in barbed wire there, so I'm right on it. Here's a pink tape. Be nice to have some of these trails lead back into the woods here. Yeah, kind of like that one right there. Leads right back in here.
bit of fresh sign here. I think these two trees are getting hit like crazy. Tons of acorns. Okay, I think I'm gonna set up a camera here for sure. There's a creek over to my right, real thick, clear-cut bedding back there. North wind tomorrow, so I got a tree stand that's closer to this field. Got a camera set up here, and a ton of stuff torn up under these two oak trees, so I'm gonna work my way around in a big loop, see what else I find, and then come back and get a stand set in here before dark tonight. A big part of my plan this weekend is not only scouting today, but I'm also putting cell cameras out at places where I find some fresh sign and trails, and hopefully tonight and all day long tomorrow I can catch a couple of bucks on those cameras to give me a little bit more of a better idea of where I should be focusing my time hunting the following 2 days. Tracks here. Walking through this real thick stuff after a couple CRP fields, and got a bunch of beds in here that are fresh the last couple of days. Pretty heavy trail. Looks like it's going up into some mature timber up there. I think that tree's got some acorns underneath it. I'm really surprised I didn't kick a deer up coming up around all that thick stuff right there. There's tons of oaks that they're feeding in, scraping up through all the leaves and snow. But maybe something would be bedded in there. I think that squirrel's pretty hungry. I was walking up this trail right here through all these oaks and beeches. I found a fresh scrape, which is pretty cool. I think I'll put a camera over it, let it sit for 2 days. Even if it's not a place to come hunt, it'd be cool to see a buck working a scrape late season. I set up 2 spots and 2 cameras for north wind possibilities tomorrow, and set up 2 spots and 2 cameras for south or southwest winds on Monday. I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the truck and drive over to the place where I put the north stand and grab my sticks and stand and go and get them hung tonight. So when I walk in the morning, all I have to do is literally climb up the stand, hook onto my harness, set up my camera gear, and I'm ready to go. Good day overall. Probably 8 miles by the time I'm done. Beer is going to taste good tonight. That's a cool tree, dude. That thing's absolutely enormous. Morning, guys. I got checked into my hotel last night. Took a shower, which felt great. Went down, took my daughter out to birthday dinner, and came back, watched some football, and passed out. Woke up this morning, and I've had doe on my cameras all night long, and I'm at the spot I'm going to hunt right now. I got all my stuff ready. It is super crunchy this morning at 23 degrees, so I'm going to do the best I can to walk in quietly. I'm really glad that I got my set up last night. Only saw doe on the cameras. Let's hope we're going to see some horns this morning. Feels good to be getting it out one more time today and hopefully tomorrow. Morning, folks. I'm in. I knew it was going to be super crunchy coming in, and it definitely was. I had a buck go past my cell camera about 30 minutes before shooting light. Just before I came in, like 15 minutes before I came in, which was kind of disappointing, but here's what's even more disappointing. I left all my camera gear in the truck. Do all this work, come down here so you can get video to hunt in Ohio, and all I have is my phone, so it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. It's a quiet, beautiful morning. I just had one deer go past me at about 120 yards away. I could see her easily just slowly slinking through the woods, so you never know what's going to happen. I'm out hunting in Ohio, late season. So it's about 9:30. I think I have a plan. I'm going to take stuff back to the truck, leave this stand here, change my clothes and grab another cell camera. I'm going to come back here, and that buck that passed my camera about 20 minutes before shooting light this morning, I'm gonna follow his tracks. I'm gonna take my hang-on stand and another cell camera. I'm just gonna really slowly move until either I jump him or I have a feeling that I'm just too close and it's time to stop. And I'm gonna find a place to go ahead and put my hang-on stand there and throw another cell camera up. And then hopefully I'll be in a situation in which I can come back here again tomorrow morning and hunt and be close enough to his bedding that I may be able to catch him in light to get a shot. We'll see.
So here's the plan. I went and got my other camera, changed clothes, and I'm gonna head back in and pull the set down that I sat in this morning, and I'm gonna follow the buck's tracks up this point where two creeks come together, and if you look way far out there, you can see it. Way out there on the other side of that swampland there is a point where two creeks come together in a V, and he was heading that direction. So I have a feeling he's bedded somewhere out there. So I'm going to go ahead and follow his tracks and either jump him and set up there, or I'm going to go ahead and get that funny feeling that you've gone far enough, and I'm going to stop and set up and put a camera, come out, and that's where I'll try and sit tomorrow morning when it's freezing.
There's a place right there where an otter came up over the bank, and he's running and sliding. He's running and sliding. Pretty cool.
Well, I just took a huge walk and was not able to find where that buck ended up going back to bedding. There's so much deer sign. It's just ridiculous. I've got 4 cell cams out, and the issue I'm having is it's all nighttime pictures. I put cams out between 2 and 4 o'clock yesterday, and I've had them out all day today, and I have 0 pictures of deer in daylight. I got plenty of doe moving at night on all 4 cameras. Had one decent 8-point, like I said this morning, that I caught last night about 3 hours after dark, and then like 20 minutes before shooting hours this morning. And there's just so much food in the woods as it relates to acorns right now that they can be about anywhere. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do this evening. Tomorrow morning is supposed to be super cold, and I did find a fresh scrape that was open. So I think I'm gonna take my blind and set that up tonight. So I had that blind to hop into tomorrow morning when it's cold and sit over that scrape, and who knows, being cold in the morning, may get them up and get them moving. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that right now and then come back and decide exactly where I'm gonna sit for a hanging hut tonight.
Had a doe hit this scrape at about 6:30 last night, so I'm hoping tomorrow morning, being super cold, I'm gonna be able to get a deer come in and maybe check that in the morning with that blind that's sitting right there. We'll see. Heading back to the truck to go ahead and go sit for tonight, and that showed up. That's pretty cool. Well, that was fun. Absolute blizzard while I'm trying to get set up. Snow inside my jacket, snow all over the crossbow, snow all over the backpacks. But I'm up. Just gotta get the camera set up, sit here till dark, and hope that some of these deer come through here on their way to feed on some of the oaks on the field off to my left before dark. Late season deer hunting in Ohio, baby. Can't beat it. Brought my cameras this evening. That's a bonus. Now, let's hope to see a deer in daylight. Because it's snowing. Trying to get all my shit dried to maybe have a chance to hunt tomorrow morning before I go home.
I did not get up to hunt this morning. Most of my clothes were dry, but it's 8 degrees with a real feel of -7 this morning. I'm gonna pop in here and get my 2 cameras and my pop-up line, get on the road and head home. Good couple of days, learned a ton. It was a tough ending last night in that snowstorm, but that's part of hunting. Well, summary, had 3 days, did the right thing. The first day did a whole day of scouting. Definitely found fresh feeding sign for sure. Even found a fresh scrape. Set up a stand to sit in for the next morning and actually had a smallish 8 come underneath my stand about 20 minutes before I was in it in the morning. So that was cool. And then got a huge storm last night. It kind of ended my hunt last night, and I decided not to get up and do it this morning because it was just so cold and so snowy. And I'm in getting my last 2 cameras, but only 3 days, an area you're not used to. Trying to find feed sources and bedding is tough. I think if I would have had a couple more days to break it down, and I would have been able to work backwards with my cameras to find bedding, may have had an opportunity to be able to see some deer in daylight. So you learn from every experience. Still had a great time, learned a ton, and look forward to getting back at it next year. There is no doubt that experiences like this really give you the appreciation and respect for what wildlife have to endure every day. It's beautiful for me being out here during the daytime with the sun shining after a snowstorm, but these animals have got to find food every day. They got to find shelter every day. They got to stay warm. They got to make it through long, cold winters. And I couldn't imagine doing it both day and night. That's how these deer find food. I don't know if a couple more days would have helped. As much pressure as this place wants to get, and these deer being mostly nocturnal, I doubt I'm going to see them much during the day. But I am sure that there are some places that they're out feeding during the day. They have to be. Just didn't have enough time to find those spots. Probably right in the middle of all that thick stuff. Bed and feed right in there on browse. Well, that'll wrap up the 2024 deer season for me. Ended up getting an 8-point buck on public land in PA, which Lee and I had worked hard for. Got 3 doe to put some meat in the freezer, and definitely learned a ton. Made some mistakes this year and did some things right, and all this stuff I'll carry forward to make sure that next year I continue to have fun and hopefully have some success. Hey, it's Kurt from WhiteTAILS Deer Hunting, telling you guys to have a great day. See ya. I knew it couldn't be that easy getting home. Had to have Erie lake effect snow to drive home through. Well, I'm home, and look at this, no snow.